Like nobody's going to look at you anyway. Hello everyone, this is Joe Meloche, Superintendent at Cherry Hill Public School District. I'm thrilled that you're able to join us today. Today is Thursday, May the 24th, and this is our online lunch for May 2018. I have two very special guests with me today that I'm excited are joining me and joining all of you. And I'd like to introduce you to Ms. Violeta Katsikas. She's one of the curriculum supervisors for the district, and Mrs. Alison McCartney, and she is the Secondary Colleague Teacher for Literacy. I always like to make sure I get the title correct because we give Alison a lot of different titles to go through. I'd like to use the official one while she's here. The ladies are joining me today because we're going to spend some time talking about summer reading. I love this time of year because it's so exciting in schools as we're coming to the culmination of all the learning that's taken place this year. And at the same time, we're talking about what kids and families can do during the course of the summer. I love summer reading because I really like to read. So I'm very excited that Ms. Katsikas and Mrs. McCartney are here with me today. So if you can start us out, Ms. Katsikas, first of all, why do we even do summer reading?
So we have multiple reasons that we have summer reading, but I think the primary reason we have it is really to instill a love of reading in our students. We want our students to become lifelong readers from a young age and to continue that love of reading into adulthood. We also want to expose them to text, to authors, to genres, to titles that they might not select on their own. So we hope to introduce them to new features, new text, and titles that they might not have selected in the library or might not individually pick on their own.
Nice.
We also hope to build a foundation on their grade level themes that they're going to explore throughout the year. So we select texts that introduce the theme over the summer, and they can do that independently, and then they'll explore it further with their teacher throughout the school year.
So kind of multi-layered, the purpose for introducing to the children. And this is not new, right? We've had summer reading in Cherry Hill School District. I can attest to at least for the last 30 years, if not longer, although it's gone through, and we're going to talk about some of the changes, right? Because we've always gone through a lot of changes about how we approach it, what we do on the educator side, and what we ask children to do during the summer as well. Just as a reminder for those of you that are watching us live, if you are watching us live right now and you have questions you'd like to submit to me, whether it's about summer reading or something else, or to the ladies about summer reading, if you're watching us on YouTube, you can actually type right along, because here in the room with us is Mrs. Barbara Wilson, who's our Public Information Officer, and she is manning the computer, so if you have questions, she will get those along to me. Also in the room is Mr. Bart, who's serving as our producer and cameraman and technologist for this episode. So certainly submit questions as you go through. So we talked a little about why, and we talked now. I've mentioned the process has changed. So tell us a little bit about the process. How does this work? Like, what is it that we're talking about in terms of the structure of summer reading?
Sure. So we actually started to plan this year in September when last year's summer reading ended. We gathered some feedback from students. We met with cohorts of students in the buildings, at the high schools. We talked to some students at the middle school level and just asked, how did it go? Which books did you select? Did you find them interesting, difficult? How many did you select? We found lots of students read more than one book, and we stressed that a lot more this year, that the expectation is to read at least one, but some of the students read all 5 books or all 4 books, which is wonderful. And sometimes I read books outside of their grade level as well, which is also excellent. We want students to read as much as they can. We met with students in September. We gathered feedback from the teachers, if they found that more students are reading than in the past, if they're more interested than they have been in the past. And then in January, after we collected all the feedback, we sat down with the curriculum teams of teachers. We pulled this year 5th grade teachers to meet with the 6th grade teachers to make sure what we're asking of the 5th grade students is acceptable and appropriate as an independent level, because they are not yet 6th graders. So we had 5th grade teachers talk to the 6th grade teachers in terms of the assignment that the students would be doing. And the teachers in January developed the assignments, revised some of the themes and the essential questions, created a rubric at the high school level, so the scoring process would be a little more clear and consistent. Selected the titles. The high school titles are already titles that have already been board approved. At the middle school level, we added 4 new texts, which we'll talk about today.
Nice. And Ms. Katsikas, what grade levels do we formally have summer reading for?
All incoming 6th graders, 7th graders, 8th graders, 9th graders, 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Okay, so any of our kids that are going to any of the middle schools or any of the high schools have some sort of summer reading assignment?
Yes.
Okay, good.
And then we brought our new titles to the C&I committee and the board in March, and then our final summer reading selections to the board for approval in April and May. And then in June, the teachers will now, and the teachers in May and June will roll out summer reading in the classroom to their students. Mrs. McCartney has developed a PowerPoint slideshow for the students to experience the books in the classroom with their teachers, to explore the titles, a short synopsis of the books, including, well, I'll let you.
Well, so this is where I think it gets exciting for teachers and students because it takes on the personality of the schools and the classroom. So different schools have planned different ways to unveil the books and do book talks and really get students excited about reading. There's going to be different, almost like festivals at some schools, and different ways of teachers visiting other classrooms to share the books, just to generate that excitement over the summer. In our 6th, 7th, and 8th grades, the students have a choice from 5 different books that all connect to the grade level theme, and then they're asked to kind of keep track of evidence of that theme as they read. So how do they see this theme just kind of weaving throughout the book? So there's some lead up to that teachers prepare students for. In 9th through 12th grade, they have a choice of 3 novels to read from, and the same idea that they have to be following these guiding questions of the grade level theme. However, for high school this year, we tried to give them much more choice in how they keep track of their understanding of the text. So in the past, we've always done 2-column notes. For high school students this year, they're going to get to choose how they keep track and how they're note-taking throughout the summer. And this can be anything from if students want to purchase a copy of their own book and write in it and bring their annotated copy to the classroom in September, that's perfectly fine. They can do 2-column notes. And we also have some online options too, especially for our students who like to maybe even read the book online, and then they can take their notes online as well. And some visual note-taking options. And these are all available on the district website. Each grade level 9 through 12 has a link that says additional resources for note-taking. And through that link, students can go through and kind of learn more about different types of note-taking. They can see examples of different types of note-taking, and there's even some online resources that they can use to keep track of their own notes as they read through the summer.
That's great. So the kids, depending upon how they feel comfortable doing it, what works in their schedule and their style, that's fantastic. And some of that came from the feedback from the kids.
I was about to say, this was really part of the student voice. Some of the students said, we really want to read, enjoy the text, and take the opportunity to take our notes on Post-it notes. Some of the students said, I want to take a visual, I want to display my notes visually in a mind map. Some of the students said, I want to do it electronically. I don't want to have to do a paper pencil assignment. So we wanted to, honor their feedback and give them that opportunity to demonstrate their understanding in different ways.
That's great. It'll be exciting to see what the kids produce.
Yes.
I think some of this comes from teachers as well, because many of these online resources are not new to many of our students. The teachers are implementing them throughout the year. So it's something that kids are used to doing, and that can be interactive, which is another neat aspect of setting some of these things up online, that students could technically be reading the same book, and one could be on vacation and the other one could be working, and they could still be having some sort of interaction about the text as they read.
That's fantastic. Do you want to talk a little bit of specifics about the assignments? Or anything that we have lots of multicolored papers that are on the table, which visually is very appealing to me.
Sure. So our assignments for 6th grade, our 6th grade assignment has changed, as I mentioned earlier, just a bit to make sure that it is at the independent level of 5th graders leaving the elementary school. So 6th graders are going to select 2 characters from their text and identify character traits, and then identify where that trait is demonstrated within the text and offer text support. Our 7th and 8th grade assignment is the same as it has been in the last year, which has been successful. And in the 7th and 8th grade assignment, what they're looking for is text evidence of the theme, and then the analysis, those 2-column notes that students have been familiar with doing at the middle school level. Do you want to talk about the high school a little bit more? And
then Ms. Katsikas, so, and these, we have these assignments that look like this. These are also, are these online already?
These are online already, and these are in the schools already. Your students will be receiving color-coded by grade level assignments. We also have extra copies in the main office of every school, at the registration office for any families who register over the summer, and at our front office here at the Central Administration Building. That's
a very good idea. And I think, have we shared these, Mrs. Wilson, in the newsletter? Have we put them out, or we will put them out?
They have been out.
We've put them out as a link through the newsletter each week. We'll continue to do that. And I know that I've retweeted at least once from the district Twitter, and on the district Facebook, I believe that's on there as well, where the link is to go through. So lots of places to find the information. So I'll talk more about the high school.
We are also partnering with two community folks I wanted to mention. The Cherry Hill Library also has a table with all our high school summer reading texts. And they are actually coming into some of the buildings to do presentations on summer reading as well. The Cherry Hill librarians, the youth librarians, are available and very interested in supporting any students who want to go over the summer, ask questions, need support with the text, the reading, the assignments. So please feel free to either reach out or to go to the library over the summer, as well as Barnes & Noble. We're going to be partnering with Barnes & Noble. They're actually going to be holding book sales at the buildings and offering the educators discount for all of the text. So keep on the lookout for the flyers that are going to be coming home. They'll be holding sales in the buildings at the secondary level in the first week of June.
And those are building based?
Yes.
Okay. That's great.
So the assignment at the high school level.
So the assignment at the high school level, as we talked about before, they are choosing from 3 novels that connect to the grade level theme, and then they are taking notes on how that theme appears throughout the novel. And they have a lot of options of how they can be recording their thoughts and ideas as they're reading throughout the summer. And these links are all available on the district website.
Very exciting. Do you want to talk a little bit about, you have 4 new books that you brought with us today.
We do. So at the middle school level, we introduced 4 new texts, which we're very excited to add. Again, as Mrs. McCartney said, these were teacher recommended texts, so thank you to the teachers for bringing forth texts. A lot of them were ones that teachers had read or students had recommended. For 6th graders, we are adding Fish in a Tree.
Nice.
Our 7th graders, Counting by Sevens. 8th graders, popular author, The Running Dream. We've had
others, right?
Yes.
Yeah, when
She reads Flipped.
Which is still on our summer reading list. And then, I'm sorry, that is the 8th grade text. Did I say 8th grade or 7th grade?
I think you said 8th
grade. And Boys in the Boat for 7th grade. Boys in the Boat is the text about the 1936 Berlin Olympics, the crew team.
And so we talked about this when you guys introduced this at the board level. This is an age-appropriate.
Yes, it's the Young Readers Edition.
The Young Readers Edition.
Adaptation.
Right, there's some of you as adults may have read Boys in the Boat. There's an adult-level book that many of us have read, but this is an adaptation that's grade and age-appropriate.
Absolutely.
For kids. That's great. And this is just 4 of the many, many books the kids have to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. If you could encapsulate summer reading, your favorite part of it, how would you describe? What's your favorite part of summer reading? Do you have a favorite part?
My favorite part of summer reading, I think my favorite part is probably the collection of diverse texts. There's diverse authors. We work hard at selecting text. Not all of them are personal narrative. Not all of them are the same lens or the same perspective. We try to find authors, even though it's the same theme, we try to find ones to pertain and to give students, to give students an opportunity to select from a different perspective, from a different viewpoint.
Right.
Different authors, different genres. Absolutely.
Because as the 3 of us have talked about with so many of the new books over the last couple of years, while we grew up generally in the same area, Ms. Katsikas and I both grew up in Cherry Hill, our life experiences leading up to where we are today dramatically different, right? So sometimes it's different, and other folks that live in the district, that have moved in the district, that work here, may have had even different life experiences. And if we can help guide children in different directions to see from a different perspective, to read from a different perspective, and to see from a different perspective, it's incredibly valuable.
It's the idea of windows and mirrors. You want to present literature and material to our students that offers them a window to a new idea or a new culture, a new perspective, but then also offer literature that is a mirror that they can see themselves in, and then kind of push them to grow through those experiences.
That's fantastic.
Very
Windows and mirrors. Ms. McCartney, I like that a lot. Is that yours? Can I?
No, it's not.
But we can use that.
We can.
I like that a lot, literature. Ladies, anything else exciting you can share with us about literacy and English language arts and anything else as we head into the end of the academic year?
I would encourage you not to limit yourself to these lists and make sure that you are reading. And again, I would plug the Cherry Hill Public Library. Their librarians are amazing, and they always have a good recommendation and a next step. And if the book is not there, they help you find it.
That's fantastic. Well, ladies, thank you very much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you later this afternoon down the hall, but I appreciate you being here. Right? Thank you.
Happy reading.
Thank you.
Thank you for
very
having
much.
us.
All right, ladies. I'm always grateful when some of our other professionals take the opportunity out of their busy schedules, and I know Mrs. McCartney and Ms. Katsikas are very busy working in some training sessions this week with some of our staff from across the district, discussing not just summer reading, but how we approach critical literacy. What do we do in our classrooms? What do the discussions look like, and how do we support our children? So I'm always grateful when they come. Summer reading is one of my favorite topics every year, and honestly, one of the things that I'm looking forward to, is reading some of the new books that we have had adopted. I always like to revisit some of the high school texts, ones that I'm familiar with, but I always enjoy seeing some of the new texts that are there. Just a reminder, if you have questions you would like to submit, if you're watching us live on Thursday, May the 24th, you may certainly submit questions through the YouTube channel. Mrs. Wilson and Mr. Bart are here with me, and they are able to send those questions over that I would be happy to address. We did have some questions that came through in advance, so I appreciate you folks that submitted your questions that I will go through. Before I do, though, I'd like, because I think last time I forgot, the artwork that's behind me on the wall is from Cooper Elementary School. Mrs. Lanny is the art teacher at Cooper Elementary School, and I had the opportunity to see Mrs. Lanny and Mrs. Tiernan were here last week with many of the artists and their families. It's incredible for me all the time to see the type of work and the quality of work that our children produce. Last evening I was also at High School East for their annual art show, which was just unbelievable, at High School West a week ago for their art show. We have so many talented children in our district who are inspired by their families and by their teachers to produce incredible works of art. Arts education is critical to who we are as a school district and to what we do. So if your child has not been involved in doing something artistic, always encourage them. Whether they're taking a class in school or drawing or painting at home, please encourage them to be involved. So email questions. The first one that came through was, with the apology about the East prom ticket in the news and all the heated community discussion on social media following it, what is happening to prevent this in the future? I heard about a cultural proficiency committee. Who are they and what are they doing? Yeah, so last Friday, Dr. Perry put a letter out to the East community regarding the ticket for the High School East Senior Prom. This year's High School East Senior Prom is being held at the Constitution Center in Philadelphia. And on the image on the ticket, it said, "We the People." And under where it said, "We the People," it said, "We'll party like it's 1776. While the prom committee put it together, and there were folks that helped to put it together, there certainly was no malice or no negative intent that was meant by it. It was found offensive by some members of our community, understandably so. So one of the things that Dr. Perry talked about in his letter is the creation formally of a group in the school that addresses character education, cultural proficiency, and equity, so that there are folks from a diverse background, both students and staff members, who have the opportunity to see things such as this before they are published. As Mrs. Katsikas and Mrs. McCartney just talked about, looking through a different lens and having a different perspective is incredibly important. And I have heard, because I've spoken with some of the folks in the community, and I've heard that there's been some intense debate on Facebook. And I will tell you, honestly, as I've mentioned a number of times in different forums, I try to stay off Facebook because of perspectives that are shared and the way, honestly, that adults write about things and treat one another is incredibly frustrating to me and at times very disappointing. The discussion that has taken place at High School East, I'm appreciative of the staff and the students that have been involved in that. Even with the best of intentions, unfortunately, negative things can happen. It's our responsibility to address those things. I give a lot of credit to Dr. Perry and to his staff and to the children at High School East who are moving the conversation forward and helping to move the community forward. And if you're part of the larger community on the outside, help move the conversation forward. Take a step back. As Mrs. McCartney talked about, it's about windows and mirrors. Looking through a window, trying to see through somebody else's perspective. What do you see in yourself? What do you see, what else that's around you? There's additional information about our district-wide Character Education, Cultural Proficiency, and Equity Committee. Earlier this year, we adopted a district-wide 5-year plan in terms of how we are formally and structurally looking through the lens of character ed, cultural proficiency, and equity. In fact, I'm incredibly thrilled that last Friday, Cherry Hill Public School District was named a National District of Character. We are one of 5 school districts in the country who's being recognized as a National District of Character for 2018. Bret Harte Elementary School and Sharp Elementary School were also recognized as National Schools of Character. We have now more than half of our schools in the district as well as the district, have been recognized at the national level because of the programmatically what we do, because of the relationships that we have, and how we address issues that arise within our community. Another question that came through was, I've heard that the board was discussing putting next year's inclement weather makeup days into spring break instead of at the end of the year. The question is why, and has this decision been finalized? That has been part of our discussion. The 2018-2019 calendar for the academic year has already been adopted. It was adopted 2 years ago, and it is online. When we saw the impact of the number of inclement weather days that we had this winter, and pushing the end of the school year later and later for the students and for the staff, we have a couple of concerns. One is overall the temperature and what goes on towards the end of June, and can we do better for the children and for the community and for the staff if we did not add days on? And the second piece, honestly, is we look at October 2nd, 2018 as a date for our referendum, and moving forward and knowing that there's going to be a considerable amount of construction work that's going on in the district. If we continue to add days on to the end of the academic year, it pushes back when work can be done within the district. So that is a discussion that has taken place. We discussed it at the Policy and Legislation Committee at the beginning of May. We also discussed it at the work session with the board in May, and we will finalize the discussion during the June board cycle. The following question that came through in advance is, when are we going to get to see the specific projects and dollar amounts for the bond referendum? And again, I appreciate the question. On October 2nd of this year, literally just a few months away, we'll go out to the community and ask the community to borrow a large sum of money to do much needed work within our district. We are in the process of finalizing what that looks like, and honestly the process right now is we are waiting on a response from the state for the job and for the project applications that we submitted in April. We expect to have these back in June, and we expect that at the June 26th action meeting of the Board of Education, we will adopt the projects. And at that time, we'll have the final list of what the projects are for each one of the schools and how they will be structured into question 1, question 2, and question 3, and then what that will look like, how much each will cost, and what the dollar amounts are that are associated with those projects. We are working on displays that will go up in each one of the schools. We'll be doing videos for each one of the schools. We'll be producing this summer, and we'll be continuing our community conversations. We scheduled 29 community conversations this year in the district, 12 of them on Saturday mornings, a number of them on Sunday afternoons, and the rest that occurred during the course of the afternoon and the evening during the week. We have held 28 of those so far. We have one more that's scheduled for June the 6th. So I encourage you folks, if you want to be part of the discussion and hear more about what's going on and have a dialogue about what it is, to come out on June 6th and join us our last community conversation. The details about that meeting are available online. Also, all the discussions that we have had have been summarized in presentations, and Q&As that have come forward are available on our website. Cherry Hill School District website is probably the greatest source and the greatest compendium of information about our school district anywhere. If you go onto the website, when you look on the front page, go down about a third of the page, on the left-hand side, there's a button that says Cherry Hill 2020. If you click on that button, it'll go through and share the presentations that we've done over the course of the last 2 years and talk about the projects we were considering, the projects we were looking at submitting for the referendum. In front of me, because this is our online lunch, I do like to have my lunch with me. I have a number of items. First, my staple, my daily lunch is my yogurt and my almonds. And during the course of this year, I've gotten into chia seeds. I received as a gift this little shaker for my chia seeds, because before I just kept my chia seeds in a little Ziploc bag. I do have to say, it kind of fancies it up a little bit when I eat my lunch each day. Banana and apple, my regular fruit. But right now, I have little grape tomatoes and sugar snap peas. If you like, it's a nice little sweet vegetable. If you like sugar snap peas, a great time of year to get them. So I will be enjoying this after we finish up our discussion. Typically, I talk about my reading list and what I currently am reading. And honestly, I just want to focus on these 4 books. I have read one of these books, but 3 of them I still have yet to read. So this is what's being added to my reading list. It's one of the reasons I asked the ladies to leave the books with me to go through, that I will be completing these, as well as picking up some of the high school level summer readings so that I can go in and discuss with the kids in the fall. Summer reading is a great activity. I give a lot of credit to Mrs. Katsikas and Mr. McCartney, to the teachers at the high school and the middle school and the elementary level who have been involved in the discussion, and certainly to the students. We got a lot of great feedback from the children in the fall about what they liked about summer reading and what they absolutely despised about summer reading. And that helped us to revise our process and our activities as we went forward. So at this time, that's kind of where we are. We are coming into an exciting time of the year. Literally, There are less than 30 days before the first day of summer vacation. To all of you, please try and participate in some of the exciting celebrations that are occurring at all of our schools. High school graduations are on June 19th. Middle school graduations are on June 20th. And 5th grade moving up ceremonies are on June 21st. There is a lot to celebrate in Cherry Hill. We're an incredibly successful school district. We have wonderful children. We have incredibly supportive parents. The heart of who we are is based on our staff and the human resource that's here. Take time to be thankful, and take time, please, to share kindness throughout our community. And it's one of the things that all of us as adults and as community members can do as we educate our children. I had the opportunity when we were at the State Character Ed Convention last Friday to sit on a keynote panel. And one of the things that we discussed on that panel was how we teach character education to our children. All of us, as the adults in the community, are teachers of character ed to our kids. Whether we are doing it overtly or purposefully, we are doing it. Our children watch us, our children listen to us, and our children read what we write. So please, always remember that and be a positive change and a positive influence within our community. I look forward to seeing you at some of these exciting celebrations over the course of the next couple of weeks. Please enjoy the end of the academic year.